Everyone told me the key to high ticket sales and succeeding in the space was to master the skill set. After being in the space for 2 years, here's what I would actually do if I was starting from ground zero and if I was to do it all over again. Those that don't know me, I've been in the high ticket space for about 2 years now. I've been able to work in a number of different places: Thailand, Vietnam, Bali. I'm currently living in Thailand at the moment, and I've generated over 1.5 million through high ticket sales. And I've taken over 4,000 or 5,000 sales calls. Some of my biggest months have been 15, 16K. And I've been able to live this life over the past 2 years, and it's been an amazing experience. I want to share some of the myths and some of the things that actually matter when getting into the space, and what I would do if I was to shortcut the process or do it all over again, because it took me about a year to see real success in the space. And if someone told me these things earlier and I listened, I probably would have got there way quicker. So I think if you're coming into the space now and you want to get there as quickly as possible, then I think this video will be really helpful for you. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. And there's a lot of courses, marketing at the moment, promising you that you can make 10, 15K per month, sat on a beach, not really doing any work, few hours a day. That is possible, and there are definitely people that are doing that. I got to a point where I was doing that as well, but it takes a very long time to get there, and success isn't an overnight thing. So if you want to get to that point, you are probably going to have to grind for a long period of time. I took 8 calls every day, probably for about 8 months or 9 months. And I was in the grind. I was really grinding it out. And before that, I was on offers that didn't work out, that I didn't make any money on. So there's a lot of failure that you have to go through before actually making it to the point where you can sit on the beach and make 10, 15K per month. So overnight success is not a thing, especially in this space. Anything that's worth doing requires work, and it's the same across any industry that you're in, but especially in sales. It's performance based, so you have to put in the work before you start seeing the rewards of your labor. Now, this is quite controversial in the space. I would say number 2, skill set is very overstated. Now, you can be the best closer in the world, but if you're on a rubbish offer and the marketing is not as good as it needs to be, then you will not make the money that you want. So I often use the Formula 1 analogy. If you're the best Formula 1 driver and you're in the worst car in Formula 1, then you're going to struggle to win the race. You might be able to climb some positions, but at the end of the day, you're still not going to be able to win the race because of the vehicle that you're in. It's the same as sales. Really focus on the job acquisition side of things. Look at what top performers are doing at a company, and if they are making 20, 30K per month, and the company is making 1 or 2 million per month, then that's a good vehicle to be in, because you know the people are in there and they're making the money that you want. Whereas if you look at an offer and the top performer is making 5K, then it's going to be hard to get to that goal of 10, 15K, even if you are the best salesperson. So skill set is important, but in my opinion, from my experience, the offer is more important. Your ego can cost you a lot in sales. When you're in sales, you have to put your ego aside, because you will get humbled quite a lot. And especially when you start, you're not going to be very good. You're going to sound like a robot, and you can think you're better than you are when you're in sales, especially when you start closing your first few deals. And what you realized is sales is an ever-evolving game. You can always improve, you can always get better. So realize that there are people who may be younger than you that are better than you, and put your ego aside and learn from them, and try and come in with the mindset of, I want to get better at this, who can I learn from to get better? And just really put your ego to the side and really look to grow and develop, and you'll be able to skyrocket way quicker. For example, one thing that I did that I wish I did sooner is just putting yourself in positions to fail. For example, role plays. If you've got an opportunity to practice a role play, put your ego aside and just do it, even though you're going to be rubbish in front of 20, 30 people. Because if you can do that and you can do it early, then you're going to sharpen your sword. You're going to get better than 90% of people, because you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. So put yourself out there, put your ego aside. It doesn't matter if you're rubbish at the start, because everyone starts somewhere, and then you will start to see progress a lot faster. Okay, so the 3 main things I would say, the most important things in sales, and if you want to be successful in the space, are these 3 things. If I was to start over again, I would focus rigorously on these 3 things and dial them in. Number 1, I would say, and I've already touched on this, is the acquisition, the job acquisition. Focus on how you can acquire the best offer there is out there with the network and the skill set that you have. Really focus on the networking side of the space. How can I get around people who are on good offers or know offer owners that can get me to 10, 15K per month, and start to learn the skill of networking, connecting with people, offering value, seeing where you can provide some help if it's needed, and really get into those circles, because 90% of offers, especially the ones where people are making 10, 15K per month, are really going to come from the network. They're not going to be advertised. They're not going to be on recruiting boards. So really get around people who know the space, are doing well in the space, and don't come from a place of taking from them, come from a place of abundance, and share insights, share some advice, share some help. A part of that offer acquisition is obviously the interviewing as well. So make sure when you get an interview that you've practiced, you know how to answer all the questions, and even practice objection handling the interviewee at the end of the interview, because that shows that you are inclined to challenge, you're not scared to push back and objection handle like you would on a sales call. Number 2 is the skill set. And I know that I've said that the offer is way more important than the skill set. The skill set is still very important, because you are on an offer, you are competing, it's performance based. You're trying to get to the top of the leaderboard. You're trying to make as much money as you can to be a top performer. Now, the best thing that you can do with this is obviously practice as much as you can. Do role plays, especially at the beginning. Get used to dealing with certain questions, objections, the way that a prospect would respond to you, how to respond that, because the more that you can practice outside of sales, the easier it will be when you get into it. So practice as much as you can, get the reps in. And then also what you want to do is you want to review your calls, see where you can improve a little bit each time. And as long as you're improving that 1% after every call, you'll get to a point where you're very competent and confident when you're on these calls. But you can read as much as you want with the books, the podcasts, but really the best way to get better at sales is just reps. So where you can, get as much reps in as you possibly can at the start. Take as many calls, look to improve, look to iterate, and you will eventually get to a point where you know why you're asking each question, you feel comfortable, confident jumping on these sales calls, and you know how to handle the objections when you get them. But yeah, learning the skill set, there are no shortcuts. The fundamentals are still very important to learn. The art of persuasion and how to communicate, and again, these are all going to come through reps and just getting used to the feeling of talking to different prospects, different personalities, and over time you will gradually get better at it. The third one is who you become as a person. Now, sales is the best gateway into self-development, because the whole job itself you have to develop as a person. You can't see success in the space without looking to become better, removing your ego from the process. And you should always look at how can I become a better person when I'm in sales, because the more congruent you turn up to the call, the better state of mind that you're in, the more detached you are from the outcome of the call, the better the call is going to go. So focusing on the state management of when things aren't going your way, when you're not closing deals, how can you maintain that state of mind, and how can you show up in the best way possible? And that comes from a lot of internal work that you have to do. That comes from meditating, breath work, managing your thoughts, and understanding that you shouldn't be attached to the outcome of the call, because if it doesn't go your way, then it's okay, because you're operating from a place of abundance. There'll be more deals down the line. So really focusing on your state of mind and not turning up to the calls tired, resistant, and not wanting to take the call. Make sure that you turn up in the best possible state. So you turn up for the prospect to genuinely help them and want to solve their problem. So 3, job acquisition, so find the best offer that you possibly can, the best vehicle. 2, focus on the skill set still. You still need to be able to close and speak to people as best as you can. And then thirdly is the state management. Focus on turning up to the calls the best version of yourself, present, engaged, and grounded. Now, if you're looking to get into the space and you want to start straight away, if I was to do this within the first 30 days, this is what I would focus on. If you want to take something specific, actionable away from this video, this would be what I would take away if I was you. So the first 30 days, this is what I would focus on. Invest in a good program immediately. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there about programs. Do they work? Do they not? The best thing with a program is it gives you that extra layer of accountability. You invest 3K into something, the likelihood is you're gonna try and make it work. So really look at what are the best programs out there. Are there people within the program seeing success at the moment? Jump on a call, find which one you resonate most with, and just do it. Just invest in it, because as soon as you do that, you're all in and there's no turning back. You invest in a program, now you've got 30 days. Okay, what do you do within the first 30 days? You go through the program religiously, you ask questions, you be a student. You always ask questions around, does this work? And you implement it straight away. You go away, what you've learned, and you start implementing. See what works, see what doesn't work, because ultimately action is gonna bring you way closer to your goal than any inaction. And imperfect action is better than inaction, no action at all. So go out there and implement what you learn instantly, and then come back to the group coaching calls and go, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and just get help from the person who is coaching you, because at the end of the day, they've done what you've done and they have the answers, they have what works. And just keep going back, iterating, improving, and then religiously do role plays. Practice with people inside the community every day, because the volume is what's going to get you ahead of a lot of people. Because people want this. People want to live the life of living on the beach, taking a few calls a day. They want to escape the 9 to 5. So there's a lot of competition out there. So you need to do more than the competition. Do more role plays, do more call reviews, reach out to more people on a daily basis, and focus on networking with the right people, the right offer owners. So do everything that the program says and just don't quit. Just keep going. Give yourself longer than 30 days. Give yourself 3-6 months. See where you are after 6 months after giving it your all. And then you can really review and evaluate whether this is something you want to consider. But if you're doing everything that's required of you within the first 90 days, there is no reason why you wouldn't have made decent progress within that 90 days and continue to go. Like I said, it took me way longer to hit my first 10K, but I made a lot of mistakes in the process. And that's why I'm doing this video, to help the people that are trying to get in avoid some of the mistakes that I made. I would say yes, 3-6 months is great, but a year is a genuine commitment. If you give yourself a whole year, there is no reason why you wouldn't see results. And a year, it does seem like a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're making a doctor's salary after a year and you're taking a few calls, then it's worth the grind for the whole year and just locking in. Learning all these actionable steps is great, but none of this actually works unless you have a strong why. Now, I was very clear on my why. My why was running away from the pain that I had in my life. I was in a 9 to 5 I didn't like. I was in debt. I needed to make this work, and that was my why. My other why, my pleasure, what I was running towards, was the lifestyle that I have now, living in Thailand, taking a few calls, traveling with my girlfriend. That was the why. And once you have a strong vision, something that's deeper than just making money or the freedom, then you can go back to it when those times get tough. Because the space, the industry, there are so many ups and downs, it's very volatile. So it's very important that you have something to come back to. And do what you have to do. I had a vision board. I had pictures on my vision board, and I looked at it every day of me being in Thailand, training at the gyms, in Bali, training at the classes, being on the beach. And I looked at it when I felt doubt, when I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do this, and it just kept me on track. So have a strong why that you can go back to all the time, because that's going to get you through a lot of the challenges and the tough times that come up when in this process. But that's it. Dedication, do not quit, have the right strategy, have the right mentor, and you can really see success in this space. And there's a lot of information online at the moment, a lot of like bro space, how to handle objection handling, a lot of people selling courses around how to get better at sales, how to make it in the online space. I am quite a rational, quite a skeptical person, and I did not believe this was possible when I started to watch some of the videos online, some of the courses, and it took me a lot to invest in my first program. I was very skeptical, but I am living proof that if you dedicate yourself to something and other people are getting results, you can get results with this and you can change your life significantly. It's just finding the right vehicle, doing the right steps, and just not quitting, and you can live the dream life that you want. I hope this helps. I'm not trying to sell anyone a course. I just want to share my experience and also let you know that You can do this. It's definitely possible. I was quite a normal guy. I didn't really have idea of what I wanted to do, but I made this work. So you can make it work, but be realistic about the time frame and what's required to actually go and make this work. I hope this was helpful. If you want more types of videos like this, like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.